Have you ever felt like you're just caught in the loop, reacting to life as it happens instead of actively shaping it?
That feeling of just going through the motions.
Exactly. Letting life happen to you, not by you.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that.
Well, today we're doing a deep dive into something that might just shift that feeling. It's the idea of a mindset,
We all have one, of course.
right? But we're focusing on a really specific one, the business mindset.
Interesting term.
Yeah, and our mission here, pulling from the business mindset, a strategic approach to life, is to really unpack what makes this way of thinking different.
Okay.
We want to explore how it helps you see the world through a lens of opportunity, responsibility, long-term growth.
So it's like a shortcut to understanding this potentially powerful way of thinking.
Precisely. A way that could genuinely change how you approach, well, almost everything.
And it's interesting, the source makes it clear right away this isn't just about making money or like starting a company.
No, not at all.
It's described as, and I'm quoting here, a very specific way of thinking, deciding, reacting, and moving forward.
It's fundamental, how you perceive and engage with the world.
Right. It's a core operating system almost.
That's a great way to put it. And it's not just for entrepreneurs, which is such a common misconception, isn't it?
Definitely. It seems much broader.
It really is. It's a lens for your whole life. So what really sets it apart from, let's call it a more generic mindset? The material we looked at breaks it down into 6 core distinctions.
6 key differences. Okay, let's get into them.
First up, big vision versus daily routine thinking.
Okay, so the business mindset is really focused long term.
Exactly. It's not just about getting through the week.
Right. People with this mindset are asking those bigger questions, like where am I actually going in, say, 3, 5, even 10 years?
And crucially is what I'm doing today, like right now, getting me closer to the life I really want to build.
That's a very different energy than the generic mindset described.
Which the book suggests often prioritizes security, right? Clings to routine, sticks with what's known, even if it's, well, unfulfilling.
Yeah, kind of avoiding those big, maybe scary moves that could shake things up.
Which leads us perfectly into the second distinction.
Smart risks versus risk avoidance.
So people with a business mindset, they don't run from risk. They manage it.
Strategically, they do their homework, take calculated leaps. They get that growth involves uncertainty.
Right. They don't need that, like, 100% guarantee before they act.
Which is key. But how does the book sort of differentiate between a smart risk and just being reckless? That line can feel blurry sometimes.
That's a fair question. It really emphasizes the calculated part. It's not about blind faith.
Okay.
It's about gathering info, understanding the potential downsides, and then making an informed call about what level of uncertainty is acceptable for you.
Preparedness, basically. So you're not just defaulting to no risk, which, as the book notes, often means staying safe, but also staying stuck.
Exactly. Okay, number 3. This one's powerful. Ownership versus victim mentality.
Yes. Full ownership.
Right. Even if something isn't, strictly their fault, they take responsibility for what happens next.
So if something's broken, fix it. Failed. Learn from it.
The book sums it up as no excuses, no blaming.
That's such a contrast to the generic thinking that often points fingers outwards, isn't it?
Totally. You hear phrases like, it's not fair, or it wasn't my fault, I can't help it.
And the book acknowledges that's, understandable, it's human, but it's also really limiting.
It is. But saying take ownership is one thing. If someone genuinely feels trapped by circumstances, how does the book suggest moving past that it's not fair feeling without just blaming yourself?
It seems to be about reframing the question. Instead of why me, it's about asking, okay, what now?
Focusing on the next step.
Yeah, what can I do about this regardless of how it started? It's not about fault, it's about agency, taking back power over what happens from this point.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And the 4th distinction really helps explain how that's even possible. Always learning versus needing to be right.
Oh, I like this one. Business thinkers are described as being almost obsessed with growth.
Right. Failure isn't the end. It's just feedback, critical information.
Their self-worth isn't tied up in being perfect right now. It's tied to the process of getting better, continuously improving.
Which is so freeing because the flip side, the generic mindset, often fears failure, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Wants to look competent, so avoids situations where they might mess up.
And that avoidance, ironically, prevents the very evolution they might want. It's a cycle.
It really is. Okay, number 5.
Value creation versus passive consumption. This one really gets to the core, I think.
How so?
People with this mindset are constantly asking, what can I build? What problem can I solve? What can I contribute?
So focused on creating something meaningful, a product, a service, a solution, even personal brand, maybe.
Exactly, creating value.
Which is a major pivot from the generic mindset, which tends to consume more than create.
Yeah, think about how easily time, energy, money can go towards short-term stuff. Endless scrolling, binge watching, spending.
Without really investing in the future or building something new. Immediate gratification over long-term impact.
You got it. And that brings us to the 6th and final distinction, which kind of ties it all together.
Okay, what's the last one?
Strategic moves versus reactive habits.
Thinking in systems. Planning ahead.
Yes. Every choice is part of a bigger picture. Daily actions line up with those long-term goals we talked about earlier.
So it's not just doing more, it's doing things intentionally. Strategically.
Precisely.
Right.
Whereas the generic thinker is often making decisions on the fly, reacting to whatever pops up.
Like being in constant survival mode rather than intentionally designing your path.
Exactly. So you see how these 6 distinctions together paint a picture of a really proactive, forward-looking way of approaching life.
Yeah, definitely. And it's clear how it applies way beyond just running a business.
Absolutely. And what's really encouraging, I think, is how the material stresses this point. This is learnable.
Right. It says 100% yes, something you can build. You're not just born with it.
No, it's something you train. It starts with awareness, just noticing your patterns.
And then actively rewiring how you think, how you act, and what you focus on.
The goal being that shift from just surviving day to day to actively designing your life.
Okay, so if you're listening and thinking, right, this sounds great, but where do I actually start? Does the book give practical steps?
It does. Some clear, actionable starting points.
Like what?
First, ask yourself every day, what value can I create today? Even something small.
Okay, shifting focus to contribution.
Second, really try to see mistakes as feedback,
Yeah.
not failure. That's a huge mental shift.
Reframing setbacks.
Third, stop waiting for the perfect conditions. Just start where you are with what you have.
Get moving, basically. Don't get stuck in planning forever.
Fourth, consciously focus on long-term gains, even when short-term comfort is tempting.
Delaying gratification for a bigger payoff.
And finally, this one's crucial. Surround yourself with people who challenge you, who inspire you, who maybe already think this way.
The environment matters. Makes sense.
It really reinforces that this mindset isn't some exclusive club for CEOs.
Right. As the source puts it, it's for anyone who wants to take ownership of their life, build something meaningful, and stop playing small.
It's about being the architect, not just the resident. I like that framing.
Me too. Being intentional.
So, as we wrap up this deep dive, here's a little challenge for you listening.
Okay.
Think about just one area in your life this week. Could be anything, personal project, a relationship, even just your daily routine, not necessarily business.
Right. Apply it broadly.
And try to consciously apply just one of these distinctions. For instance, what if you looked at your morning routine through this lens?
Instead of just rolling out of bed.
Yeah. What if every choice in that first hour was a strategic move towards a big goal, instead of just hitting snooze and grabbing coffee reactively?
How might that change things?
Exactly. How could that single shift, maybe from a reactive habit to a strategic move, or from avoiding risk to taking one smart, calculated step, how could that open up new possibilities for you this week?
What could you design starting now?
Something to think about.